Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your humble host, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I'm bringing you sports from a West Side point of view from right here in Cincinnati, Ohio. All right, here is the rundown of what I'll be talking about today. UC had an unbelievable comeback win last night over South Florida. And the varsity team played last night. At least that's what I was told. UK, well, they lost to Tennessee last night. And the Reds are taking on the Cubs today. Let's get into it. Bearcats won 79-67. Unbelievable. I thought they were done. I mean, how many times as a Bearcat fan have we gone to a game and they're like, all right, this team cannot shoot. And they light us up. And that's exactly what South Florida was doing the first half of the game and all up to about 13 minutes into the second half. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, they were hitting everything. The guy who can't shoot three-pointers all of a sudden could throw it from half court and hit. I'm like, this always happens. Why does this always happen? But with 13 minutes and 14 seconds left in the game, USF was up 52-43. Coach Brannen calls a timeout. Now, Terry Nelson said this on the broadcast, and I noticed it too because I'm listening to it on my phone and I'm watching it on TV, and he says they're being pumped. They're being punked out. USF is laughing. They were laughing at the Bearcats going, I can't believe it's this easy. Because it was that easy. They were getting to do whatever they wanted. We had no defense, no rebound, and South Florida was hitting everything. So I don't know this for a fact. Brannen didn't say he said this. But if I were him, I'd be like, what do you guys want to do? They're over there laughing at you. They're laughing at you. Dude, we're the Bearcats. We get the black jerseys on, black hat. We're the Bearcats. We don't come down here and lose. So, Brannen, he did say this in the interview. He's tried every defense he threw out there and none of them were working, so they decided to do the trap, which worked out great. They had back-to-back steals. Mamadou got a dunk. And then Brannen, I love Coach Brannen. He's quickly becoming my favorite Bearcat coach. He ran, according to Terry Nelson, he ran the same play 4 times, twice for Keith Williams down the baseline and twice for Trey Scott, and they took over. Keith Williams stepped up huge. He had a career high with 28 points. Trey Scott, who has just been bringing it all month long, he followed up with 22 or 23 points. I couldn't believe what I was watching at first, because I mean, before that timeout, they came out in the second half. I thought they quit. I mean, Terry Nelson said it on the broadcast. Is the Bearcats season unraveling before our eyes? Because it looked like it. They looked lethargic. They had no energy. They had nothing. And then the second half, I thought they'd come out, punch them in the mouth, and they had nothing. 13-14, timeout. Brannen, I don't know what he said to him, but whatever he said, he needs to say every single time. Because that got them going. I mean, I'm going nuts down here in the ice cave watching the game. I'm yelling at the TV going, this is your NCAA berth on the line. I'm screaming it. And my wife's going, they can't hear you through the TV. Well, I think they can if I yell loud enough. But it was just so frustrating to watch. I'm like, I know Jaron Cumberland was out. I know Davenport was out. I know, but they had to give a better effort. They finally did. Let's see here. They went from that 13 minutes and 14 seconds, they went on a 36-11 run. Our defense played awesome. We held the Bulls to 2 field goals in that span. That's it. Where the hell's that been at? I'm like, oh my goodness. Yes. Trey Scott, he said after the game, he goes, the second half there, we finally played like Bearcats. Yes, you did. You finally played like Bearcats. I don't know what in the world that was the first half of the game. And if they played like that with Jaron Cumberland against Houston, it could have been a closer game. But moving forward, Keith Williams. Like, I don't know if they got to run more plays for him. Maybe that's it. Maybe Brannen needs to run more plays for these guys, you know, to get them shots, to get them going. Maybe he's found something, because that was awesome. I mean, Keith Williams played with confidence, and he made some just tough shots. And one thing I like Trey Scott did, first half, he kept trying to do the Euro step and shooting threes and all the stuff that he's trying to develop into his game, which I understand. But second half, he went down the block and scored. That's where Trey needs to be 90% of the time. I mean, I have no problem with him shooting three-pointers every once in a while, because he has shown that he can make them, but not all the time. And I don't want him out there. I want him down on the block. An interesting thing, I think Chris Vogt, I don't think he played. I think it was 7 minutes left. I think that's what it was. He never saw the court again. Mamadou played great. Now, my opinion, we will be more successful with Vogt getting back to playing like he did at the beginning of the year. I don't know what he's doing. I'm not sure if he's just getting pushed out or they're figuring him out, or if he's tired, or I don't know. But I really hope he can figure it out, because to move forward, like I was saying yesterday, hopefully Jaron Cumberland is healthy. I mean, he's had this foot problem all year long. He's barely practices. I mean, he's had this foot problem a ton. Hopefully he'll be back Saturday for senior night, and we get him going. If we get him going and we get Trey Scott, like Trey Scott's been playing like this all year long. We get Keith Williams. I think you start running some plays for Keith. I don't. The stuff you did last night, you need to do that Saturday, because it worked out great. But if you can get those guys going, we can go pretty far. I mean, and they play defense like they did the second half. We still got out-rebounded. That's why we need Vogt. He's 7, dude, you're 7 feet tall. Play like it. Beginning of the year, I remember this, he would go up, he'd have shots where he should dunk it, he'd just lay it in. And I remember Terry Nelson going, go there, dunk that ball, like the 7-footer you are. And now it's kind of like, he's kind of got back into that mode where he's 7 feet tall, but he's playing like he's like 5'9", you know? So he needs to get back into that 7-foot mode, that he's the biggest, baddest dude on the court, which most of the time he is the biggest guy on the court against guys we play. He's got to get back to that. If you get him going, Trey, like I said, he's been going all year. Keith and Jaron, Javon would be awesome if he could start making his shots. There's so many, if these guys all come together, and if it happens, I mean, we can make a run to the Sweet 16. We can lose in the first 4 in Dayton. I mean, that's how this team has been this year. So I don't know what is going to happen, but John Brannen has just done a heck of a job coaching, especially this week after the loss of his father. He had that heavy on his heart this weekend. They've lost 4 of their 13 scholarship players. So, I mean, we're banged up, bruised. We got guys that left the team. Brandon's father passed away. I mean, it's just been, for a first-year head coach, it's been a tumultuous season. And Brannen has stood up and been there and been the leader for his team all year long. To hear him break down emotionally in the post-game interview with Dan Horde and Terry Nelson was heartbreaking, because he said he left his father on his deathbed and had to get on a plane to go to Houston, and then went from Houston to Florida. So he hasn't been around any of his family in probably one of the hardest times of his life. I mean, when you lose a parent, I haven't done it yet. Luckily, both mine are still here. But I know that's got to be extremely hard on you. And he had to just focus and concentrate to get a win he had to win at least one of these games, and they did. They played a heck of a lot better But I just really respect what Brannen went through and how he kept it together for his team and that group of young men. He said, I got to go home. My mom needs me. My brother needs me. He goes, I left my father on his deathbed. So, Coach Brannen, my thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. Go home. Take care of what needs to be taken care of. And let's bring the heat Saturday night. All right. Now, for those of you that are watching me on YouTube, I have this other Facebook group. Well, this was actually a Facebook group. It's called Bearcat Country. And I post on there a lot. And last night I did a video. I can't remember if it was a live video I did or I videoed the game at the end of it when we were winning and I was cheering and acting like an idiot. But it was awesome. So anyway, there's apparently a UK fan on there. And he commented underneath it, said, hey, UC, get off the TV. The varsity team's going to play. Well, your varsity team lost 81-73 to Tennessee at Rupp. Wow. I think there goes your number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. I didn't get to stay up and watch it. I probably would have, but I had to go to work. So I got this information from one of my viewers. He is a Kentucky fan. And he just gave me some stats I think are pretty interesting and pretty telling about Kentucky. Kentucky is 8-6 when they allow more than 66 points to their opponent. They're 6-0 when they hold them under 66 points. I mean, now you can sit there and say, well, that's every team in America. You know, if you play great defense, you're gonna win. But they're 16-0 when they hold their opponents under 66 points. So Kentucky, their main focus to me should be playing great defense because they got, like I said, I'm a Bearcat fan, but they got such great offensive players. The offense will come. You know, you really got to buckle down and play defense, especially if you're 16-0 when you hold them to 66 points or fewer. So, varsity team lost. All right, Xavier, I have not forgot about you. You guys are taking on Providence tonight at 6:30 on FS1. And it's probably on 700 WLW or it's on 55 WKRC. I'm not sure which. But no, I didn't know this. This is a very interesting and cool stat. If they win tonight, I think this will make 36 straight years in a row that Xavier is 500 or better in conference play. That's pretty impressive. 500 or better in conference play, and especially the last, 5-6 years you've been in the Big East. That's pretty impressive. I got to give it up to you guys. Now, I think they're in. I think they're more in than UC is. If they lose a Providence tonight, it might hurt them a little bit. Obviously, it'll hurt them with the loss. But I'm not really that worried about Xavier going in. I don't know. I think both UC and Xavier going in. I mean, UC's got to win Saturday, and then we got to win and make it to the conference championship, I think, at least. All right. Now, today is Hump Day. So I call it Sports Hump. Like, what's that sports hump that's getting you excited, getting you ready to slide into your weekend? Well, what got me over it was last night. I'm like, yes, they won. That was so cool. But what I'm looking forward to this weekend, again, Bearcats, and it's not just because we need to win, but it's senior night. So if you have a ticket, this is your last time to see Trey Scott and hopefully Jaron Cumberland. Hopefully he gets to play. Hopefully he's healthy enough to play on their senior night. These guys, if you look in the record books, they are, I think Steve Logan is number 1 as far as victories in a Bearcat uniform. These guys are in the top 5. I want to say 2 and 3, but I don't know that for sure. I should have looked it up before I started talking about it, but I didn't. But I know they're in the top 5 as far as victories. And Trey Scott, I know, passed Jaron last night with that win since Jaron didn't play. So that's just, these two are two great Bearcat basketball players. Now, are they going to go to the NBA and be stars? I don't know. I don't care. They were great Bearcats while they were here. We won a ton of games with these two in the lineup. So it's going to be awesome. I don't have tickets. I like to have tickets, but it'd be awesome at least getting to watch and cheer them on. I'll be cheering through my TV and yelling at the TV thinking they can hear me, like my wife says. But it'd be fun watching them for the last time at Shoemaker. Yes, I still call it Shoemaker, Fifth Third Arena. And cheering them on. And it'd be great. So that's my sports hump. That's what helped me get through this week and getting me into my sports weekend. What's yours? You can tweet it out to me at Sports with Strawberry Ice, or put it on the Facebook page or down below. All right, Reds, no TV today. They are playing the Cubs at 3:05 today. I have enjoyed. There's been more Reds spring training games on this year than I can ever remember. I mean, a couple of them weren't Reds broadcasts, but that's okay. At least you got to watch the Reds. So I have enjoyed that. Now, there hasn't been a whole lot really to talk about with the Reds in spring training, because normally it's the Reds. We're like, okay, who's going to be our fifth starter? Or some years, like, who's going to start for us at all in our starting rotation? Okay, who's going to win the third base job? Who's going to do this? There's not a whole lot to talk about. I mean, everything's pretty much set as long as there's no big injuries. I mean, Gino Suarez, he's got a shoulder. I don't know if he's going to be back for opening day or not. Senzel, the Reds did tweet out yesterday that Nick Senzel will make his spring training debut, on Thursday. So that's a good sign. I have no clue where he's going to play. Center field, second base, third base. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see him at second. I mean, maybe not Thursday, but definitely going on into the future, especially if Gino is not going to be ready for opening day. Because to me, it's a pretty easy move. You put Shogo in center, Senzel at second, and you put Moose at third. So, I know, or actually, I tell you, like, Crawl said they wouldn't do that. Moose at second, Senzel at third because of the throw for second base. Anyway, so at least Nick is going to be back in action on Thursday. Now, the big story that is coming out of camp is Jose Garcia, the shortstop for the Reds. And everybody's wondering, wow, this guy, he's leading the Reds in home runs and RBIs in spring training. Now, don't get me wrong, the kid has been very impressive. Do I think he's going to beat out Freddie Galvis for the starting shortstop job? No. Next year, maybe. Because he's only had 2 years of professional baseball in the Reds organization. He's only 22 years old. And he hasn't even played above Class A yet. So, from a guy to go from Class A all the way up to the majors is a huge jump that I just don't see him making, even if he has a great spring, because we have Freddie Galvis. We don't necessarily need him to play shortstop. Next year, yes, later on in the season, maybe, depending how he does. Can I see him starting in AA or AAA? Absolutely. Now, you say, well, wouldn't you put him in AAA? Well, anymore, it seems like your better prospects, they keep him in AA for some reason. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's in AA and then jumps up to AAA to get him ready to come up to the majors. But it is very exciting to watch. I mean, all winter I wanted the Reds to get a shortstop. I wanted to get, the guy from Cleveland, which ain't gonna happen. But it's very exciting that we have him, because Freddie Galvis has a great year. Cool. Go sign a multi-million-dollar contract with somebody else. We got somebody to replace you. And that is what the blueprint needs to be for the Reds moving forward. We got to have a farm system to replace guys that leave, and then we got to spend some money to either keep some of the guys we got or let them go and sign cheaper guys. That's got to be the blueprint. Like I said this before, I don't see us signing anybody for any long-term contracts. All right, as always, Sports with Strawberry Ice and the Ice Cave is presented to you by T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc for all your rental property needs and your rental management needs. I also have a couple Facebook page groups here I like to boast about. I talked about Bearcat Country a lot because I'm on there a lot because that's basketball season. So, and then we have Bengals Nation and a new one we started called Reds Country. That's where I posted the thing about Nick Senzel on there. So if you're on Facebook and you like sports groups like Reds, Bengals, Bearcats, come check those groups out. We have some great conversations. Bearcat coach was blowing up last night because it was crazy. All right, guys, that's just sports. Like, subscribe, share. Tell all your friends about me. See ya.